Yo, I hate y'all niggas, bro. I even just one hit me with a melee. I slid up on him. Melee. Punch me in the face. I was gone. I was full health.
Zone C neutralized.
That hunter thought he was gonna try to kill me. Took advantage of me in the beginning. It's like a tight partner. Fucked me up that move that he.
Enemy captured.
I don't like the way this nigga teleporting. Yeah, that nigga just started teleporting non-stop. I'm like, man.
Zone B neutralized.
No.
No.
Enemy captured Zone B.
Jumped off the damn cliff.
Oh my gosh, how could have got sprayed so hard? I've been having like the biggest urge to just renew my Xbox Live and just play Halo.
Said to renew your Xbox Live.
Heavy ammo in.
Yes, to just play Halo.
Zone C neutralized. Heavy
I
ammo.
know Halo's dead, and if you like playing Halo right now, it's just pretty much on Xbox One. Halo would still be such a great game if they didn't ruin it.
I think it'd be in the same boat that Call of Duty's in. Yeah.
Zone A.
I mean, over time, people would get tired of it and it would lose its popularity until only the hardcore of the hardcore played it.
Enemy captured Zone C.
Call of Duty's still hot though.
Call of Duty is still popular because it's casual, but that huge audience is still just waning. Halo would have even less of an audience because Halo's not a casual game.
Right.
I mean, at the end, they'd be making the game that they want, but they wouldn't be making money. And it would eventually die out anyway.
Zone A neutralized.
I think they would have had to. I think they killed the game faster for what they did. Because, like, you know, they had those people. That big fan base that it had was the people that was going to buy it every time. Because they know Halo was a great game.
Yeah, but still, that's not a lot of people. It's not the amount that they want. Damn, that guy's lagging. And, but also, you know, when they doing it, I think their biggest problem was not the fact that they changed it. It was that the fact they ain't sticking with shit. They're changing Halo like Call of Duty. And I don't mean that in how it plays. I mean, it's just when you change shit year in and year out and you don't keep what you had in there before. Like, I mean, I know regardless of what people felt about Halo 4, I mean, it's like if you liked it or you hated it. But, like, if they came out with Halo 5 and it was like, okay, we're continuing on with the way Halo 4 was, you know, still have the loadouts, we're just improving the game, you know, fixing all the mistakes that we made with loadouts in part Halo 4, I think they would have more of an audience rather than the audience that they have now. I mean, they're not sticking with anything. They just keep changing it. They go from loadouts from one game, and now they're back to the whole esports thing. And that's 10% of the damn audience to begin with, of the casual and the hardcore. So it's like, you know, that don't gel with a lot of people. I mean, you gotta change the game somewhat, but I mean that's the balance that they gotta find. They have to change the game, but they can't change it so much that people who do play Halo don't like it. Like, there's a bunch of people who love and hate Halo 5 because of that.
All the things that they did make with the unnecessary changes that nobody wanted to see happen. I'm like, yeah, they could have some changes. This not a problem with that.
Yeah, but I mean,
like,
they tried to change it for the, to bring in more casuals. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. And trying to modernize the game, I can't fault them for that. It's just, they want more money.
Zone A.
I can fault them for that. I'm like, that's why their game's dead faster. Like,
Nah, Halo ain't going nowhere.
Halo's in the water. Like, Halo's gone.
Yeah, the popularity that I had, but that's what I'm saying. It just has to build a new one. They're not sticking with shit, like I said.
I'm like, Halo, I can honestly say nobody ever talks about that game anymore. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. It has to build a new audience. The older generation who played Halo don't like it. And so you either gotta don't like it, and it has to gain new people to pick it up and play it, which it will do. I mean, I remember with Halo 5 when the beta came out, people were talking about it again. I mean, people had some kind of hype behind it. But the problem is, it's a lot of that isn't the older Halo generation. It's either a little bit of that plus newer people.
I think people were talking about it because it was the new Halo game. It was something new to play. So
that's another reason why I think it's gonna be popular. Because right now, I mean, look at this game. This game wouldn't have made no money if it came out when, like, let's say Black Ops was out, or even when Halo 4 was out, or even Halo 3. Or even when Battlefield 3 was out. This game, nobody would be playing this shit. But the fact that this game has so many players on it, you have tons of COD gamers who are tired of playing the same shit. Halo gamers ain't getting what they want, or they're tired of it, or either don't play games no more, or don't play Halo no more. And then you got a bunch of new people who pick up and play shit every year that just want a new game to play. They want something new and different. So I mean, they gotta change it up. That's why I think a lot of people are gonna jump on Halo 5. I don't think it's gonna sell like COD. But then again, COD has no staying power no more. But look at the last one. People picked that shit up and played it, and they dropped that shit by December. And it comes out in November. I mean, because they changing that up and trying to innovate things with that, but it's just, it's the way it is. The market is, people don't have longevity no more with games. They don't pick them up and play them for years on end like they used to. Nobody does. And that's not the market that, that makes money, so.
I think Halo would have lasted if they would actually, instead of them making the change that nobody asked for, they would have made the change that everybody was asking for. Maybe find a way to use your resources to utilize a way to fix the fucking ranking system that was broken.
I think they should have. Me personally, regardless, because I love what they did with Halo 4. I just think they were inexperienced with it. But besides loadouts and all that shit, because I know we have different opinions on that. Besides that, I think they should have took Halo and kept it similar to the way it was. Like, I know I've never been a big fan of arena style maps and all that shit, but embrace your uniqueness. Like if Halo was the only pretty much the only. And I can't even call Halo an arena shooter, but that's the only word that really describes it. The only first-person shooter, let's say, that wasn't a typical modern military shooter or COD. Embrace that. Use that. Run with that. I think they should have kept that aspect rather than trying to change up your game to be like a modern. Don't get me wrong. It's like I love how they modernized it. And I want them to modernize it, but it's like if your audience is this, embrace that, because otherwise Halo was the only game on the market that was like that. Everything else is loadouts and this and that and the other. Embrace your uniqueness, and if people buy your game for that, don't
I felt like they could have made a new game for the things that you wanted, which they did. That is this game. This is pretty much what you wanted. Just there's some things that they could fix with it, but I believe this is the exact game that you wanted. and like you have your variety of guns, different classes. Nobody, you're not stick to red or blue of like your team colors and shit like that. That's cool. You know what? Maybe they could have did that in Halo. I think that's a change that they could have actually did. But you know what? That's kind of what made Halo Halo. Red versus blue. They even
see that's the thing is like I never did like that idea. Because it feels more... I mean, I can understand why they have it. I mean, I think that's cool for, let's say, like, Team Deathmatch. Because, it's a team-based thing. But if you're playing free-fall, along with Halo...
No, free-fall, you was able to be your color that you wanted.
I know, but yeah, the only thing that they promoted about the multiplayer was red and blue. And it's two colors I didn't like. I mean, I can at least have something. Like, I can understand having some uniform-esque thing. Let's say, like... If you wanted your character to be black, purple, whatever, let's say like your whole left arm was red, or your whole left arm was blue to distinguish what team you're on. Something like that, rather than just having everybody look the fucking same. It just got annoying to me, and I hate how that's been like a staple in Halo multiplayer since they made the shit. Well, except in part 1.
I mean, most Halo players they didn't really care about none of that, to be honest.
Halo gamers, they're like, I'm gonna throw an analogy at you. How COD gamers are, damn, I just had it in my head. How am I gonna put this? How COD gamers want change, but then when they get it, they bitch. Halo gamers want everything and can't get it. And then whine when they don't get it. Like what? Out of everything that Halo's done, they all want that shit to be perfect. In reality, you can't do that. Like you want the perfect multiplayer. You want the perfect forge built onto the same disc. They don't want to switch fucking discs. They want all the fucking guns in the game, even when they were overpowered for no apparent, just because they were overpowered. I mean. You can't have everything be one way and have your game be good. And they can't take development from the multiplayer to make Forge, because I think they should just scrap Forge altogether. Or make that shit like, okay, after the game came out 6 months down the line, then kick out a Forge disc. Because why do both? That's just going it's going to be like this game where it's like, okay, well, we can't focus on, our multiplayer like we want because we got to, make a new Forge with new shit. I'd rather want the core multiplayer.
They didn't really need to focus on that. And then when it came to the Forge, they actually had a good Forge. They just took, they took one option that they already had and they took it out. And then they added some new ones. They just forgot the nudging. I think that was absolutely fucking stupid. That's not something that would have took, some a great deal of resources and manpower to do. It was just nudging. I think they just forgot about it. And they just did not add that in.
Control.
Like they didn't even think about it. I think they kind of just overthought that one because you had the magnet, where everything was just kind of magnetized in place. But sometimes that did fuck up, but that's what the nudging rule should have been for. To just fix it how you want it, or maybe you didn't want to use the magnet because you wanted to build your map a certain way. How some people had those like maps where you remember Halo 3 how someone had that little 3D map where you could walk along the walls and shit. Yeah, maybe what if you wanted to do something like that, and but you needed to put your pieces just right. You can't do it because the nudging's gone. I mean, you can do it, but it's way harder. It's gonna take too fucking long. I don't think that's asking for too much. Because that's something that they already had. And it doesn't seem like it was that big of a deal for it to be that much memory for it to take up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but maybe it is though. I mean, you got to remember the finite space you're working with, especially on one disc. You can't have it both ways. It's physically impossible. People on console don't realize what people on PC been dealing with for years. People bitch on console when they're installed. Why do I gotta have a 10 gigabyte install for a game?
I understand that.
You can't, and that shit's nothing compared to on PC. On PC, the game might be 50 gigs because you got tons of more content. And when you take away some of that space on disc, or it's you can only fit certain shit in there. So I mean, I can understand. Well, I mean, maybe they had their own limitations as far as why they couldn't make Forge the way they did, or maybe they thought that they were changing for the better when in reality, a lot of people, you know. But at the end of the day, you got to remember what they care about. That's what they're gonna make. They're not gonna care about, you know, none of the other shit. Like you got to how many people, like how many years have been people asking them for like machinima type stances and shit for your Spartans so they can do machinima and shit in Forge.
Man, they could use that a whole nother bitch for that. I don't really care about that shit.
No, but what I'm saying is like how many years people have been asking for that because how big that was back in the day. And it's like they don't ever do that shit. It's like, you know, it's they don't care about it. They only care about making those bullshit Halo Reach maps. Otherwise they would make their Forge better. They don't care about people who want to make maps to the best of their ability and can make better maps than them. They don't give a fuck. For what? Why should they care about them? That's like less than 5% of your audience that's ever going to use that shit. So why should they put that shit in your game? I mean, I can understand where they're coming from. But that you know, it's, you know, they're thinking broadly rather than individually. But I just think they should come out and just be like, look, this is what we're focused on. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You know, that's what we're focusing on, and just come out and say it rather than try to panhandle and play everybody like they do Call of Duty. Companies don't ever want to piss nobody off no more.
Heavy ammo available. Zone A lost.
Like take, you know, I can say, you know, say the same thing about the multiplayer of this game. There's tons of people who don't like the shit because of the one-hit kills and the powers and weapons that don't make sense in the way their formula and the meta of how their game works. I can understand that completely, but guess what? They ain't adding no playlist to take out powers, although they will, but by then it might be too late. They not keeping the playlist. They doing the same thing they doing with Halo Reach. They'll have something in there for a week and then take it out the next week. Call that shit a day. Why? Because they don't care about it, because people are playing their game, and a bunch of people are playing this game. They don't give a fuck. Why should they change?
Yeah. Man, I just wish I was a fucking billionaire. Like,
I mean, Halo would be the same way, except Halo, they probably don't care. I mean, they probably don't care about the multiplayer no more. Nobody does. It's just the fact that it's Halo, so all right, we have to throw in multiplayer, and they're trying to recapture the magic with the whole, you know, since 343 did Halo 4, they were like, okay, well that didn't go off too well, so let's try to take it back to how Halo used to be, but at the same time add in some changes, and that's what they're doing, and they're gonna see how that goes, and if that don't work out, then they'll change and try something else. I think this will go off a hell of a lot better than Halo 4 though, because it feels like they just took Halo and just ripped fucking Crisis. Because it looks and like you got all that jumping and ground pounding and shit. I was like, that shit was all in Crisis.
yeah, if I remember right, I do remember that. So I'm like, that's why when I seen Halo 5, I'm like, I'm not believing interested.
Zone B.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like I don't think nothing's gonna interest you as far as Halo no more, because it's not what you like. You're in the same boat that a lot of COD gamers are right now, where it's just like they're never gonna take it back to how it used to be. So you're never gonna like what they make. It's just not for you no more.
So when I play COD, I still get the same feeling as what I always did when I played COD. It feels the same, plays the same, and maybe to other people who hardcore play that shit, I can understand why they say it plays different. I don't play the game like they do.
No, I mean, I can agree with you. I mean, as somebody who plays everything, I mean, I can do agree with you. I can play COD and play the same map every time if I want to. And I can understand how you feel that way, because I feel the same way too. After a while, it's just like after you're going through the motions of playing it. It's playing you at a certain point. You can just turn your brain off and just do the same shit. And in this game, I don't feel that, because it's, people jumping around using powers, so it always has like an air of unpredictability, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And whereas in Halo, you kind of had it both ways, where it was like you could play it, like that, and everybody plays it the same way every time, but then you always play that one guy or play that group of 50s that'll rape your ass, or that'll be doing wall jumps and shit, circling the map or getting, you know what I'm saying? It's like you might play 10 regular matches and then get that 1/11th match where your shit goes completely, you know, how you wouldn't expect. And you had the skill based on top of it. That's something where me and you both agree with. Like they don't have skilling games no more. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like, look at this game. Aim assist up the ass. Most aim assist I ever seen in a console game. I mean, it's that they're getting away from that because you got more casuals playing it who don't want to. I mean, if they can't get acclimated, if you can't pick up a game and get acclimated to it, let's say in a couple weeks, guess what? They putting your game down and they ain't playing it no more. So that's one of the ways they prevent that, to make the controls easier.
Enemy captured zone B.
I don't think they should have did that shit. Me personally, I say fuck that. There's a lot of skill-based games out there that just, I can name one game right now that's like really skill-based and tons of people play it. That game, Counter-Strike on PC. Been playing that shit since I was in high school. That's how old that shit is. People still play it to this day. Shit's popular as hell. And that's heavily skill-based and shit. Hardly little aim assist and all that shit.
You captured zone B. Zone C.
It's just on console. I mean, you don't have, and maybe I could be wrong, but I think that a lot of the times when it comes to the developers, the Halo devs or whatever, it feels like they all got their head stuck up their own ass. Like they don't play their game. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I do feel that way. I feel like, Bungie, if you notice, if you watch any of those videos of Bungie playing fucking Halo just to fucking play, they always got their ass whooped. They suck. I wish I could have played them, yo. I really do, yo. Or like, when I say it was still popular and stuff like that, I remember when I first perceived Bungie, they're the makers of the game. Like, I thought they were like the nicest people. I mean, what you would think. Okay, thank you for that revenge. I'm good. Light his ass up. Use that shit and just automatically start tanking my back. Titans and Warlocks, the Vex takers.
But it's like sometimes it's like they'll make a game, right? And then be like, okay, well, we want to make our game this way. But then it's like they don't. It's like this game, for instance. Why don't they have separate playlists for everything? Why don't I have team doubles, big team battle, team deathmatch, free for all? Why don't they have it listed like in every other fucking multiplayer shooter? Why? Because they gotta bug up their ass about how they making their game, and it's just they won't change it. It's fucking asinine to me. It makes no sense.
For me, I think personally, like, I would, if I had, the money and shit like that to actually make a game like that, a third-person shooter, I would honestly remake a Halo type of game. I think would it be? It wouldn't be Halo. It would be a totally different game. Would I make it modern and sci-fi? That I don't know yet. I do not know that. I don't know the answer to that. How would I try to make the game? I'd make it play just like Halo did. You jump just as high as you did in Halo 3. Arena style maps. Just because I know. Me and you had different standpoints on that. But I like the idea of map control on. Like those symmetrical maps, like finding out what everything is. Like you have something on that side, and that has something on this side, and it's up to whoever team to utilize whatever they have to win the game. I don't got
no problems with map control. My problem is on maps. Let's say like they're even on both sides, because then it just I just don't like that. Like I don't mind map control. Let's say like in Halo maps, like probably not Guardian per se, but let's say like Blackout. Don't got no problem with that map.
And you don't got no problem with that because it's not symmetrical. It's just it's the whole thing different.
As long as I got something on my side of the map, or let's say something spawns over there that I can use to counter whatever it is you got. let's say like if you had the sniper on one side and I had the beam rifle or something of that equivalent, and I just had to work my way to get it, you know, or control that area so that I can have that. I don't have no problem with that. That encourages teamwork. You had to be, you had to be doing your shit. Otherwise, you lost it, and then you really got your ass raped. You know, that's just how that was.
I can't press options to look at my shit. Every other button works, but I can't press options.
I can.
Alright, now it's working. Like I know you heard me pressing that shit like not working. Alright, oh, that's that 2 control matches to play. Okay. Seems like we've been playing control for an eternity. That shit is so boring. You know, I like, you know, a map that I know you hate, the pit.
Yeah.
You know, that, look how symmetrical that map is. You know, me personally, I'm okay with that map. You know, just because you know, I don't really care about the map like that. But when I play it, it feels like Halo. Because that's what Halo's always been.